Greetings and welcome to another edition of The Great Goddess. Praise be to Goddess. Praise be to Goddess. Well, here it is, another Wednesday, and today we have for you the subject of Goddess is the Divine Feminine. And what do we mean when we say Goddess is the Divine Feminine, and what does that mean? So, Goddess is the Divine Feminine. Basically, it means that Goddess is female in spirit and in character. And she's feminine in many ways. She has many different ways of being feminine. She's gentle, and she's kind, and she's sweet and dear, and she's feminine in many different ways. She's very feminine, and she's so feminine, in fact, that she's more feminine than the most feminine woman that we know of. She's more feminine than that. So she's the most feminine being in existence, and she's so feminine that we can't comprehend the full extent of her femininity. The full extent of her femininity we can't comprehend. So the Goddess is the Divine Feminine, and she is female, but Goddess's children couldn't accept her as she was, as female. And what does this mean? Well, the Goddess, they couldn't accept her as female, so they had to worship male gods. And they have many male gods that they worship, and they worship the male god as one, but they only worship the male god. They don't worship Goddess. They don't even know Goddess. Goddess is foreign to them. She's unknown to them. So they either worship a gender-neutral god that has no gender specificity or specificity. Oh, I can't say it. Forget it. And they can't worship Goddess because they have so many male gods that they worship. Let's see what some of the male gods are that they worship. The Christians worship a man god, so they worship a man as God. The Hindus worship Brahma as their main god, and he's male. So their main god is male. That's their ultimate god, is Brahma. They do worship Goddess in Hinduism, but not really, because they have so many male gods that it crowds the Divine Feminine out. The Divine Feminine isn't recognized in comparison to the masculine in Hinduism. Hinduism basically worships one god as all. So and it's a male god, Brahma. So they don't really worship the Goddess as we do. And the Muslims worship Allah, who's another male god. So they all worship male gods. And even the Jews worship a god known as Lord to them. He's known as Lord, and by other male titles, King, Lord, King, that sort of thing. They worship a male god, and the only ones that don't seem to worship a male god are Buddhists. But Buddhists don't worship anything at all. They have a man at the center of their religion that tells them what to do, and so their religion is very man-centered. And while they may believe in goddesses, possibly, not necessarily believe in goddesses, but possibly believe in goddesses, those goddesses are depicted as being subservient to the male. So they don't really worship any true goddess like we do. So all of Goddess's children have forgotten her. We can't find Goddess on the map anywhere on Earth. And they've all forgotten her, and they all believe in the male gods. They all worship the male gods to the exclusion of everything else. And they don't worship Goddess. They don't even know Goddess. So what does this mean for us? It means that we're in terrible danger of becoming like them. We're in danger of worshiping male gods to the exclusion of Goddess, and never knowing her and never having a relationship with her at all. And that's a very, very grave danger, because it means that we'll have to repeat our lives on Earth. If we can't accept Goddess when we die, we have to repeat our lives on Earth. So we have to keep coming back until we accept Goddess. And when we accept Goddess, we're granted grace by Goddess to ascend to heaven and to ascend to paradise, where we can live in peace and harmony with others that also worship Goddess. But why is it a grave danger to ignore Goddess? Well, the danger is mostly all in our heads. It's the danger is in our mind, because of course this world is the world of illusions. Is the illusory world, the one that we live in. And there's a better, bigger world out there beyond this world that where Goddess dwells. But the thing is, Goddess dwells with us all the time. So that's the illusion. We don't know that she's with us all the time. And she's always with us, even in this illusory world. She's still with us all the time. So the danger is in our minds. The danger is that we don't even grasp that Goddess exists. We don't comprehend that she exists. And because we don't comprehend she exists, we're a danger to ourselves and others. We're all in danger because of not knowing Goddess. So what can we do? What can we do about this grave situation where we don't know Goddess, and we're not familiar with her, and we don't worship her, and we don't understand her, and we don't think about her, and we just don't know her at all. We're cut off from any contact with Goddess, and Goddess would seem to be the most obvious thing to us. Okay, wouldn't that seem to be the most obvious thing? If there's a great spirit, it must be female. That would seem obvious, but no, it's not obvious to people. They can't accept Goddess, and that's why we have a male-dominated society, where women are kept subservient to men who are domineering over them. Basically, the men domineer women with their size on a very physical level. They domineer women with their size, but they domineer women in other ways. So we do live in a society which is very male-oriented and very, very oblivious to Goddess. And that's the danger. Because we live in a society like that, we're in danger of not knowing Goddess and not having contact with Goddess and not being one with her and feeling her with us. Because we live isolated in a society that's completely male-dominated, with a male-dominated God, a dominating male God that dominates women and makes women subservient to men and makes men subservient to him. So women can't win in a society like that. And so it all stems from religion, because all the major religions are male oriented, dominated by either a man or a male god. We have a male dominated society that's very harsh and very hard on women and treats women as slaves and servants. And he actually enslaves women as sex slaves. There's still sex slave trade going on in this world that's um, very injurious to women and injurious to our society. So, what can we do? Well, we can start telling people about Goddess. And I know it's hard to tell people that you love and know about Goddess, but it's necessary. It's necessary to start enlightening them and start telling them about Goddess and how Goddess loves them and how she's gone neglected, how she's gone under the radar, not known by anyone. Even though she created us, she's not known by any of us. She's because we've chosen this path. Men have chosen the path of self-worship, and their women have chosen to worship them, to worship men. So because of that situation, because we have a situation where the men are being worshipped and worshiping themselves and worshiping their own image as God, then because we have that situation, we have a situation where women can't win. And if you tell people that, if you explain to them that women can't win in a male dominated society where God is at the center of all life and all public and religious life, and that God is male, if you explain to them that male-centered God, that male-dominated, male-centered God, what you always call he by the pronoun he, that pronoun means everything. It changes everything. It changes the way people look at each other. It changes the way people treat each other. It changes everything. So that male pronoun makes a difference. And it does change the way that people feel toward each other and think about each other. So what can we do? Well, other than tell people about Goddess, there's not much we can do. But we can try to emphasize all of Goddess's values in our lives. All of Goddess's values of woman honoring and the spirit of woman honoring and woman caring in our lives. We can live that ideal in our lives and live it out day by day. And that is one way we can honor Goddess, because Goddess is greatly honored by us following her values. And her core values would be to honor all people, to be gentle to them, to honor women, to be caring and kind toward women, and that we can live out those values in our everyday lives, and we can tell as many people as we can about Goddess. Those are the things we can do. And just by changing ourselves, we can change the world. So that's all for this time. I'll see you next time, and have a great week, and be good.